Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the crazy train of frauditing. I hope y'all are doing awesome out there. I just wanted to say someone has turned off the heat in the Smoky Mountains, and I'm not very happy about it. Just so you all know, I just wanted to inform you. But at least we didn't get buried under feet of snow like some places here in the U.S. But I do want to know, does anyone know how much an airline ticket or two to Australia would be? I'm asking for a friend. So out of nowhere last week, auditing the USA, old Glenn from Washington emailed me out of nowhere. Mostly to bash Josh Abrams and Anselmo Morales, but he also claimed I couldn't make a video on him because he's not a criminal, and that he's beaten all of his cases. Take a look right here where Glenn says, I'm contacting you because saw your channel where commending Josh Abrams' accountability for all. Well, all right. And then he goes on to say, Josh did drugs, he did heroin for years, even raped and beat Hoyt tow truck girl Danielle Bogano. He even was in jail for 3 months awaiting trial. The only reason the rape charge didn't stick is because Danielle didn't show up to trial. Did someone say that Glenn claims to have a level 400 English? Because that class sure as hell didn't teach spelling, punctuation, or sentence structure. Good God, Glenn, you spell check or something before you send an email. Well, then Glenn goes on to say, do you really think Josh Abrams is this great fellow? I've met him in person. He's a full-pledged narcissist. He's even a pathological liar, and he is a psychopath. He will hurt someone like he did in the one police report. He had a crowbar. No, Glenn, I never said I commended Josh or said that he was a great person or anything like that. I simply said I gave him kudos for doing the right thing. He deleted a video that would show support for, a child molester and a woman beater. So yeah, I did give him some kudos. So, you actually calling Josh a narcissist, a pathological liar, and a psychopath is like the pot calling the kettle black, Glenn. Have you looked in a mirror? Have you heard yourself talk? Well, then Glenn goes on to say, anyways, I've beat all my cases. The only other person who is beating all their cases are a magset press. And if I wanted to be relevant so bad, like you claim, why would I stop making videos? I'm under no court order or privation, whatever that means. And yes, Glenn, you have been for the last 2 years. And you are for the next 2 years. So why are you lying there? Anyways, ruling or probation or anything that prohibits me from videotaping. So if I want to be relevant, see bad, wouldn't I keep going and not stop like I've been? No, you stopped, Glenn, because you were under a 2-year prosecution deferral program that you didn't want to get in trouble for if you did something wrong. So let's be honest, Sloaney boy, you can't make a video of me because I'm not a criminal. I'm not felon. I'm not a rapist like Auditing America Enrique Torres. You can't make a video about me because I'm not a bad guy. Oh, well, it's getting deep in here now, folks. I don't have a criminal record. It's getting even deeper, folks. And you've got nothing on me except you think I want to be relevant so bad. No, Glenn, you have not beaten all of your cases. I'm going to remind you in a few minutes here all about that, because you're apparently delusional and have selective memory. Yes, it's true, you don't have any felonies yet, but you do have several misdemeanors. So yes, that makes you a criminal, Glenn. So I wrote back to Glenn, and I said, actually, I found out that your last charge in Mukilteo you didn't beat. You signed a 2-year deferred prosecution agreement. So as I said, it makes you a liar. But you were gone for 2 years because you were on probation after spending 4 days in jail. Your appeal was denied. So now you're back, but you still have to be a good boy for 2 more years, because if you're not, you will face those charges in Mukilteo. Don't worry, Tubby. You're going to get the video you so desperately wanted. Oh, and that lawsuit you handed out in the mayor's office with the chief of police standing there, that you insinuated you had just walked in there and served, was 6 months ago, and has already been thrown out. Good God, kid, can you even tell the truth? Well, since I emailed Glenn back that last time, telling him that he had not beaten his last charge, and, it's been crickets, ladies and gentlemen. Just like all of the other frauditors I have proved wrong, Glenn has decided to stop trying to convince me of his truth, and which, of course, is all lies. Okay, folks, before I get started on all of Glenn's charges over the years, I want to thank the Combat Wombat website that they have on Glenn, as it helped me with some of the older charges that weren't on the court website anymore. And I don't know where they're going and why they're disappearing off of there, but court cases that I had looked up before are no longer on there. Anyways, I also want to thank a subscriber named Mitch, who gave me some information on Glenn also. And of course, the good old Tella Klein was a great help on Glenn's last charge in Mukilteo and with some other information. So, got to thank her. All right, so without further ado, let's start out with Glenn's vehicle and traffic charges that go back to December 23rd, 2004. He was charged with minor operating a vehicle after alcohol consumption, and that was out of Island County, Washington. He was found guilty. He was given 90 days in jail, 89 days were suspended, and $1,000 in fines that were also suspended. We go ahead 4 months, and on April 25th, 2005, he's charged with driving while license suspended in the 2nd degree out of Snohomish County, Washington. He pled guilty to an amended charge. He was given 365 days, all of them suspended for jail, and a $397 fine. Now, that sounds like a couple of convictions to me, So him saying that he's not a criminal and he has no convictions is wrong. So let's see, we go ahead almost 2 years, and on February 11th, 2007, he's charged with drive while license suspended in the 3rd degree. It was out of Everett, Washington, and that charge got dismissed. We go ahead just 4 months, and on June 29th, 2007, he's charged with drive while license suspended in the 3rd degree again out of Everett, Washington, and that charge was dismissed. All right, now we go ahead 12 years he's behaved himself while driving. And on November 15th, 2019, he was charged with reckless driving in Everett, Washington. He was given 364 days in jail with 359 days suspended. He was given 2 years or 24 months probation and $245.50 fine and fees. He entered jail on, it appears, on December 12th, 2022, after his appeals that he had filed failed. He ended up doing 4 out of the 5 days. He must have got 1 day off for good behavior. So we go ahead to August 18th, 2020. He's charged with failure to carry proof of compliance. That must be insurance. That was out of Multnomah County, Oregon. And that charge was dismissed. And we go ahead now 2 years to January 3rd, 2022. He picks up 2 charges out of Mukilteo. That's not Oregon, that's Washington, I'm sorry. One was using a cell phone while driving, and the other charge was refused to give information. That meant he refused to give his driver's license. He failed to appear, and the default judgment was guilty, and he was given a fine for using a cell phone while driving, and the refused to give ID or information was dismissed. All right, we're going to go ahead to his criminal charges now, and he's got a few of them. Back on January 28th, 2005, he's charged with assault out of Everett, Washington. Yeah, that charge ended up being dismissed. And we go ahead 4 months to May 5th, 2005. He picks up 2 charges out of Everett, Washington. He picked up a theft charge, which at first it says he was given 365 days, and then it says the charge was dismissed. So I'm going to go with dismissed. But his minor possession, consuming alcohol or liquor out of Everett, Washington, he was found guilty. He was given 365 days in jail. 362 days were suspended. That means he did 3 days. And he was given $400 in fine. Again, sounds like a conviction to me. So I don't see where Glenn's beat all of his charges. And we're going to go ahead 15 years to May 8th, 2020, where he was charged in Broward County, Florida, with pedestrian failure to use a crosswalk. He was found guilty on March 21st, 2024, almost 4 years later. And he ended up paying a $115 fine. And we go ahead just a few weeks to May 31st, 2020. He's charged with obstructing a law enforcement officer out of Kings County, Washington. And that was a deferred prosecution agreement where he would get no criminal violations for 12 months. Again, it's kind of a win, but he was still under some kind of court surveillance, I would say, for 12 months, so he didn't really win. And we go ahead 3 months, and this is interesting because, well, it's 2 different states, that's why. He was charged with criminal trespass in the first degree on August 14th, 2020, out of Multnomah County, Oregon. And he got a deferred prosecution agreement out of that one. No criminal violations for 6 months. And we're going to go ahead now, not even a year, January 24th, 2021, he's charged with criminal trespass, 2nd degree, out of Everett, Washington. And he got another deferred prosecution agreement, no criminal violations for 6 months. So he behaved himself for almost a year to January 3rd, 2022. He was picked up for criminal trespass in the 1st degree out of Mukilteo, Washington, and he's delayed that case all the way to the late last year, 2024. He ended up signing a deferred prosecution agreement with no criminal violations for 2 years. So he's got to behave himself for 2 more years, otherwise he could pick up those charges. Now, on January 14th, 2022, he picked up a harassment felony charge out of Mukilteo, Washington. The charges have not been brought against him yet, but I'm told they have up to 3 years to do so, so you never know what's going to happen. Now, Glenn actually has more civil cases against him than he does criminal cases. If we go back to April 13th, 2007, Holland Residential against Glenn. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if this is father or son. They didn't say whether it was senior or junior, but the order was for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,712. I'm figuring if Dad owned his own property, that this has got to be Glenn. Glenn is, out renting his own apartment or something. We go ahead to, let's see, August 7th, 2008. Glenn filed a domestic violence order of protection in Snohomish County, Washington against Amanda. And the temp order was granted for Glenn, but then it was dismissed on August 15th, 2008. We're going to go ahead to June 12th, 2009. There was a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I'm not sure if that was father or son. It did not break down whether it was junior or senior, but it was discharged. May 23rd, 2014, a domestic violence protection order was placed against Glenn Jr. from Glenn Sr. out of Snohomish County, Washington. It was a temp order of protection for the father. That was dismissed a week later on June 5th. 4 days later, Dad had to file, 4 days later, his sister, I believe that's his sister, Jessica, on April 5th, 2016, she filed an order of protection against Glenn Jr. out of Snohomish County, Washington. The temp order for Jessica was approved. Then it was dismissed almost a month later on May 3rd. On May 17th, 2017, then I don't know again. I don't know if this is Glenn Jr. or Glenn Sr. It didn't say. But the Employment Security Department of Washington, out of Snohomish County, Washington, put out a tax warrant for overpaid benefits, and $450.16 were due, and that warrant was dismissed after the repaying of the monies, which was done on February 20th. Now, on August 10th, 2017, the Boeing Employees Credit Union against Sirio. I don't know if that's junior or senior. Again, it doesn't say, out of Kings County, Washington. But there was a default judgment for $17,168 for the plaintiff. We've got another bankruptcy on September 13th, 2017. Again, I don't know if that's father or son because it didn't break down whether it was junior or senior, but that was discharged. And we've got August 22nd, 2021. He had filed a court appeal on charges, and he lost that appeal on October 13th, 2022. We've got a child support case that I found a while back, but I don't see in the court cases anymore. May 9th, 2022, there was a child support arrears out of Kings County, Washington, and he owes $1,228. I think that is going to be for Glenn's illegitimate child. And then we go to October 23rd, 2023, the Department of Social and Health Services against Glenn. Again, it doesn't say junior or senior, but it's a release of abstract for support judgment, which I'm going to guess again, since Dad doesn't have any children, that support would be needed for, that this is for Glenn's illegitimate child for $1,228.74. So we go to the header now. We've got auditing the USA. We got Glenn Jr. He was born in October of 1986. I'm going to block out his state ID number there. January 21st, arrest at Everett PD. He used an address out of Seattle. I think he was homeless at that time, though, and was living in his car, but got a couple of phone numbers there for him. I don't know if either one of them are any good anymore. This was actually looked up a couple of years ago. That might be his parents' house phone number. He was homeless there for a while, living in his car, as we all remember. And we've got an email address for Glenn there. We'll have to block that out so that we don't get in trouble for giving out private information. And interestingly enough, the apple does not fall too far from the tree when it comes to domestic violence, as Glenn Sr., his father, has had 2 orders of protection placed against him by Linda, who's going to be Glenn's mother, which would have been the father's wife, on August 9th, 1983, and on June 22nd, 1987, both under King County, Washington. And of course, old Glenn says gods can't be arrested, but I just showed that he can be arrested a lot, and he's been convicted. So I don't know how he wants to claim that he's never been convicted of anything. So old Glenn was gone there for a little while, and now he's back and still trying to be relevant in this frauditing scene. Now, for some reason, he emailed me and basically dared me to do a video on him. Why? Can anyone answer that question? Well, I want to thank you all for stopping by to watch this video. Please give me a thumbs up, a like as you watch it, if you're liking what we're doing here. That just lets me know I did a good job on putting the video together. Of course, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and join in all of the fun we're having here. Now, the Officer Down Memorial page seems to be behind on updating its website, as I know of at least 1 and maybe 2 law enforcement officers' deaths already this year, but their website is showing none. According to bluehealth.org, there have been no law enforcement officers' suicides so far this year. That is really great information. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope Glenn's happy with the video that he wanted. So this is all I have for now, folks. So until next time, y'all take care out there now.